Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Team Fortress TV. It is another grand viewing of our ETF2L Season 39, Week 3, and I'm not alone. It's your boy, TurboTabs here. I've got Josh with me again. How are we doing, Josh?
Good evening.
Good evening. And also, we've got former caster of the season in the production table tonight. He's going to be pressing all the buttons and showing all the stats. And I can't wait to get to the stats. But in the meantime, Josh, we need to get into the time machine because we're traveling back. We're going all the way back to week 3 of our ETF2L. And it's a very messy ETF2L table because of it. Everybody's been delaying their matches. Everyone's been putting off things that they need to play. It's maybe that Reckoner map or something. I don't know. Is there any excuse when it comes to this much delay, Josh? Do you like your Prem players actually playing the weeks they play in, or is this better for them to do? Is this more time to prepare?
No, I respect it because at the end of the day, this game is a hobby. So it's understandable if you can't dedicate the time, and you don't really. If you're going to play Prem, you want your team there. You want the people that you've actually built the foundations with to be there. Because putting in mercs, it never really matters who the merc is. They can't really replicate everything that the team you've built around is going to be there. I mean, granted, you could try and pick up Mike, but at the same time, it's not the same. It's just not the same thing, you know.
Mm.
Regardless of how good and how skillful that player is,
All right.
the cohesion that you build with a team is always going to be what you need when you're coming into the Prem at the very least. I'd say up until Div 2, it's fine to just pick up mercs, but then after that, that's when you need your stable team.
All right. So that's good to hear. That means everybody is going to be accounted for tonight in these two squads when they're playing off against each other. The only thing that might throw a spanner in the works is they haven't been scrimming on these maps. You and I know, but maybe to the average player, or like if my mother's watching still, they don't know that when they play these maps in the scrims, they only play like two at a time, usually that week's maps. Do you think the fact that they're playing week 3 and God, what week are we in now? Like week 7 or 6 or something? They haven't been scrimming on Reckoner. They haven't been scrimming Gully Wash. Do you think this is going to be a dampener for these teams at all, or should they know these maps like the back of the hand?
At the Prem standard, you should be able to play these maps like when it comes to it without a doubt, really. I mean, 3.5 stars struggled against GC, only taking out a golden cap win. So that's already like a bit of a worrying start. That was for I think Gollywash, I believe. So that's already a bit of a worrying start. Garda, however, just trying to find it. Garda took a golden cap loss to Vibram's middle finger. So that's even worse coming into this game. So
Hmm.
they're already playing against each other. It doesn't seem like they're potentially strong maps for each other, especially
Hmm.
considering GC had such a poor season at the start and are only now starting to shine. I mean, Vibrams were a complete wildcard team. No one really expected them to be doing what they were doing, and then they came out super strong at the start, but then they've just fallen off completely as well. So
Yeah. So we've got a bit of time before we go into our match of Garda Panteri versus 3.5 stars, and it should be a very telling match because they're very close on the ETF2L tables. Got the same amount of matches needed to be catching up on the tables as well. But we got a bit of fun for you, Josh. We've got your stats. We didn't really enjoy me and B to the stats that all these other players were offering on Garda Panteri and 3.5 stars. So we thought, you know what? Not every day you get a Prem player into the casting booth. So let's compare your lifetime stats versus one of Raf's who's going to be playing. And is there anything initially shocking you when you see these stats? We might have to ignore the fun facts a bit because I think they're a bit skewed. But yeah. Oh, no, this is equal. Oh, okay. So did you know you're the 22nd of all time greatest killer in TF2?
I'll take that.
You'll take
I'll
that.
take that. I'm more of a support player anyway. I've got rank 6 in assists. I'm just not really. I don't really play to get all those kills, and I let Kuno or whoever my pocket scout is have all that glory.
How much do you guys in the Prem level take these stats seriously? Are you going to be lording over Raf tonight with these stats saying like, "Hey, dickhead, you've only got 14 kills per map. What a loser!"
Nah, man, I couldn't care about the stats. Like when we finished the PCW last season, like we would sit there and we'd like analyze the map. If there was like pushes that we did wrong, or if you do like mids that went bad, or stuff like that. So whatever was like the whatever was the outstanding sort of issue, that's what would be discussed. Like we would never discuss over the logs. We would never look at it and think, right, this person was doing way too much or anything like that. The logs are just irrelevant.
Oh.
What comes down, because like winning a round is winning a round. That's the super important bit. How you do it can sometimes just be out the window. If you get a back cap, doesn't matter. That's not your that's your team just making advantage. But when it comes down to there's core aspects of this game that you just need to have like down to a T, and that's mids and last pushes. The rest of it can come pretty easy because if you have really strong mids, 90% of the time you're going to push the enemy team back to their last anyway, because half of the teams in Prem are usually too scared to take a fight on second anyway. So as long as you can if you can combine strong mids with strong last pushes, you've got a very good strong team to work off there, and the rest of it will fall into place.
All right. Well, I guess if we put away the individual stats and talk more about the team, these two teams, at least in my plebby opinion, they're quite different in their play styles. I feel like Garda Pandaria very much kill-centric, like constant action thrown to the wolves kind of play, and 3.5 stars, not exactly perfect play, but like a bit more calculated, a bit more. How can I describe it?
Are you trying to say they're the much slower team?
I wouldn't say no. That's insulting. I would say it's just much more like definitive what's going on in a 3.5-star game. But I don't know. Educate me, Josh. Do you share the same sentiment? Am I completely off base here?
From what I think, both teams have got players that have played with each other for a large period of time. The Frenchies obviously they like change classes a lot and like will go from Div 1 to Prem every now and then. But the core aspect of their team has played together for so long that they work off each other really well. So it's understandable that every person knows the role that they need to do inside out. Same with Garda as well. Garda have, from what I've played a couple of warm-up games against Garda, and having this American scout introduced to them has definitely upped their game compared to last season. Last season, very hit or miss, because it was like if the soldiers didn't have an amazing game, then the rest of the team just sort of fell apart. I think the top team, I think us and Faint knew that straight away, so we're just picking apart the soldiers and just picked apart the rest of the team after that. But now with this new American scout that they've got, their last pushes are very clinical. Everyone is playing their roles super precisely and super well. Mankey's having a much more impactful season from what I've seen. It's a completely different Garda, and I think it's because they've got that guy. They've got this American, because he's top invite as far as I'm aware. And I think he's been able to iron out the bad habits and spot what needed to be changed, and it's definitely turned them into a much better playoff contending team.
Does the American factor change things at all? The fact that they maybe play a bit different TF2 or style TF2, or maybe cohesion within a team or team dynamics, is it different when you have these Americans play into an EU lineup? Have you ever experienced it yourself?
100%. But like the Americans have such a much more aggressive play style, and the thing is as well, when American teams lose their medic, they just switch off everything and just go balls deep aggressive. So it's really fun to play against. But even when they have their medic alive, it's such coordinated aggression. It's really good to practice against.
All right, boys and girls, prep your balls because we're going straight in. And QB's already launched off his first initial ball into our mid of our first map. Gullywash, Garda Pandaria versus 3.5 stars. And I'm not really seeing a 3.5-star push or kind of push across. We do see the initial jump coming out from AZN now. He will be the first blood. And they're starting to get some kills out of the Raptor. That was Raph making a little wraparound play from drop down. And they bought Garda Pandaria, as it seems. And with only a few players left and no medic alive, they have to try and jump on Patchouli. But Patchouli's being well guarded and blobbed by his team. And it's going to be a clean mid for 3.5.
I don't know if you saw that, but the mid from Garda was lost the second the blue soldiers did their bomb, because they jumped into the sky and faked and landed on the side and blobbed up right around Milky, and then both red soldiers were completely hidden. One was in the valley, one was in drop down. They synced the bomb that was at the exact same time and crushed them with 1 billion damage. It was way too easy. Garda literally gifted them that mid. Red blue soldiers need to realise you can't do fake bombs. You need to be aggressive.
All right, well, they've already done the first checklist of a good Josh sort of TF2 game. Good mid. Can they follow it up with a good last push? And they've already got pressure on point now. The demo man has been cleared out. Alien Smiley, though, struggling to just pepper off that last scout, though. They've got the heavy weapons guy up on the point, but he's going to be cleaned up rather quickly. It's one lone scout here against the 3.5 world, and it's unfortunate that they only have one scout as well. You do get a respawn, and they're making the chase onto Petrulli, but he's taken the scout taxi out, and he's out of second, he's out of last.
Deli dying on that last push cost them that last push. They got two really good picks straight away, picking up the roamer and demo hiding in water. They should have instantly slowed it down when that happens, because the fat boy is going to come out of spawn and go straight to point. Deli just needs to chill around his medic, play in a passive position, reload all his stickies, and then you just flock to the point. Deli can't be getting caught out on these last pushes. It's pretty poor gameplay from a demo man.
Oh, Bud. Oh, that's unfortunate. You know, kind of crossing horns with Raph in that drop-down area. Oh, kind of overextended in that elbow area. Oh, that's going to be a butchering of a last name as well. And yeah, I don't know how, but the Garda Panteri just walk in one at a time. Now they've popped Uber at choke as well. They're trying to back out, but they've got the flanker kind of whistling behind them here, and they might actually get out. I'm kind of shocked here. Where's AZN during all of this?
I mean, it's still fed regardless, so now they're one down, got a full Uber ad to contest with, and all the red spawns are going to be rolling out very quick. It was just really, I think Garda is still warming up, because that was really poorly mistimed push. We'll go over that in a minute, because they're going straight into last already. They've not even popped Uber, they've taken Uber straight up to the point. Milky will be picked up surely with Mankey. Never mind, Uber didn't follow him in, so the red scouts got baited very hard by Patchouli there.
Oh, it's just awful. You know, when you pop Uber and you're Demo Man and you can't see any initial or obvious targets for you to go for, everyone was kind of missing out of action. Maybe there was a bit of focus on the heavy weapons guy, but it was hard to really follow up and find the kills. AZN, though, finds himself.
On the back cap. AZN's got it.
It's a ×1 cat, though. Mankey's already there. Nice air shot. Nice follow-up. Oh! They cough at the lad and he does go down.
I'm not sure. This has been like misplay after misplay after misplay.
Two scouts.
That's back up. That was such a poor round. Like Garda should never have lost that push into mid, because they baited Bud super hard. The combo didn't push in until a couple of seconds after Bud had already gone in and died. And then by that time, Ed decided to try and take a 1v1 with the soldier, and while Mankey was trying to go across the point. Otto didn't know who to follow, and then they just lost everyone because of it.
Oh, new mid, new me. They're trying to. Let's see okay, well, with Auto going down, they just need they only have really one objective over on 3.5 stars. Just keep Petrulli alive, and eventually the slow push should roll over them. They're going to throw Mankey in first, and it's a nice little sync up somewhat from Garda Panteri, but it's just too strong of a wall to deal with. Petrulli was already out at choke when any sort of aggression kicked off.
There's no way, Auto and I think it's Ed did not see those stickies, or the people rolling out big door. Deli didn't do anything except send 3 stickies into the doorway up to elbow where the medic walks up, but he just walks straight into them and just dies instantly. Is his eyes not working? Surely, I don't know. I just don't see an excuse for that. I mean, it's not just Auto. There's 4 players in front of him, so one person should see the stickies.
It's been less than 5 minutes and Josh is angry, and so will QB as well. Going down in water when your team has already popped off the Uber charge. They still aren't able to make anything happen with these Uber charges into last. It's just been very, very poor Ubers, and let's see if they can pick up the pieces and fart out a random round like they did first round, as they're on the back foot here over on 3.5 stars.
This used to be one of their patented that's a good pick up fronts, but that's going to stop the push now, and Redders are going to have the spawns. But this is a patented French push. I can't remember what Frenchie devised this push, but it's where you flash the scout into water and then your combo goes in through Riverside. But it's really easy to counter now if you've got 2 people, because the scout doesn't get that long of an Uber flash into water, and then it just baits Ed super hard here. I'm not sure why they're even trying to do this. You can't make this push out when there's 6 alive. And you're going into it. Despite the Uber ad, it's too easy to kite into red second. I'm not sure about this. Now they get picked off. Now they could definitely make this try. This is definitely a try to get a counter sack in or make some space.
Yeah, they've been struggling to get from that Riverside top area, though. They're going to try it again, but Mankey, he's got better ideas. He wants to go all the way round from Choke and go for the long con play. Maybe even pick off Deli at that respawn. But meanwhile, at Chokeland, Bud still hanging about. Mankey, oh, maybe just a bit too quick off the mark as they see it coming over on Deli. Doesn't
I don't know what Milky's doing, man. Milky is just absolutely clueless. Like, he knows Deli's dead, and he knows his team is trying to push out, so he knows there's going to be no stickies on the doorways to block him. All he has to do is put a couple of stickies on the door and peek the door, and then he can see what's going on. But now they've already used onto last, take a big exchange. Big lots of blobbing on the point. Deli's going to be here before Milky, so if they play the point quick, Deli's already sticking it. Needs someone else to get on the point, though. Oh, it's too late.
No, not enough time. You did see Raph trying to just weasel onto the point at that last second, but it's just looking a bit awkward with these Ubers.
Alien's in on the back cap.
Is he on the back cap?
I mean, he gets a pick. He gets the pick on Milky. That's massive. That's massive in itself. That's going to buy his team enough. They're actually going to be able to take this fight now because they know there was that many people on last. If Aliens can do this is a really good fight. They're still going to trade out another frag. 1 for 2 though, it's not very good. Patchouli's left in no man's land. Mankey's on top of his head. Surely he dies.
God, everyone's just entering the blender, and how did Patchouli get up here?
Okay.
QB
he's
dropped down
auto.
trying to get the saw.
QB goes through 2 scans and gets auto. This is horrendous. This is so bad.
Okay, well,
It's as if Garda are just losing to themselves more than anything at the minute.
I mean, I roughly touched upon. I don't want to say I told you so, Josh, but they throw themselves at the enemy team, and they're doing okay. They've managed to come back from last now. They've recaptured midpoint. They're trying to get all the ducks in a row and get the Uber charge built out and reclaimed again, but. Let's see what 3.5 stars are like on a defense rather than an offense, because offense has not been great apart from those mids.
I mean, if you're 2.5 stars right now, all I'd be thinking is this game is like really in our control. You know, this is the first time Garda have taken the midpoint. They've not even seen the red side of the map yet. You know, they've not got onto the red second or red last once. So if I'm Raph, all I'm thinking is I've got all the control in the world. This blue team is really, they're going to be scared to do anything because they know of how aggressive we've been so far. They're not going to really know what to do as well.
Well, they're trying to play big door, that old chestnut, and Deli's got that even bigger chestnut. He takes out Mankey with the sort of shutter stickies, or was it like the little ramp? You know what kind of stickies I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
just Deli stickies on the door. Izzy ends in beneath for free on Auto's head. And it also gets bullied out to the floor. This soldier gets baited, Bud's out of this fight completely, and KLSE's going to get caught now as well because of it.
Yeah, and Uber pops out. It's going to be one of those awkward Ubers. Nobody's really dying between both of these. They're just on top of Auto. Look at it. Alien
body blocked Auto. That was so good. I don't know if you saw that. Alien body blocked Auto. That was so close.
Yeah, usually a lot of these scouts are too concerned with the classes with guns, and they don't really want to deal with that medic in the post-Uber, but they will find Auto, and now they've got the heal advantage. They can just pick a doorway and slowly take all the players one at a time. Look at Patchouli playing very patient, not to give the sniper a sight line that he wants, so he is kind of a little bit caught out to Choke for a hot second, but Alien Smiley comes back, deals with Mankey, and I think even Patchouli did a nice serve there. He's been playing well so far.
That's the only time I would call out Deli this map so far, because Deli should have just put some stickies on the choke and just had Patchouli just AFK on the stickies, because that was kind of scripted to see that the soldier was going to go for that salvage play. You know, it's a very budget Roma play. Just go for that high bomb and get the med. It's very easy to bait out as well. If Deli just stickies to choke, Patchouli has nothing to fear. That was a bit too danger zone, but still worked out in the end. They're doing the same push again.
They've got stickies ready for him, but there's no stickies on point though, because they killed that black scout in water. There's nothing to do with that scout and Deli just sticking up the point. Talk about winning a battle and losing the war.
That's the first time they've managed to get it to work though. Like that's out of 4 fails already. That's the first time they've realised what they needed to change. The pocket scout, I think it was Alien. When he ran onto the point, he just cleared 2 stickies and just AFK'd in the corner, and no one was able to contest him in the corner because the Deli stickies was really good.
Alright, they've got their nice safety push in here on a 3.5 stars. Milky is being pressured by just one measly scout, while the rest of 3.5 stars will try and deal with the aggression of Mankey and company. They are forced to go back into choke because there was a bit of a drop down soldier. It wasn't really successful, but kind of a bit stuck now because they can't back out fully. Delhi has the top area on lockdown, so they have to just play choke here. It can be scary.
It's taken this Milky this long to realise that the combo is not in the choke. Like, he doesn't need to be watching this choke like this when he knows the combo is big door. He should be denying them for like so much more. Auto went down to 50 HP then. If Red were a bit more on the ball, they could have had AZN easily go in for that sack play. Like, combined with Delhi spam and AZN sacking, Auto could have been forced there much easier. Milky's just, I don't know, Delhi's outclassing him completely. Same scene. The last official I saw him play, this was a similar story with him and Dagger. He was just getting, like, although his numbers are good, he was just getting outshined again. You know, I don't know if it's lack of experience or...
You're not a fan of those demo men that just stare at their traps for 10 years, Setlet incarnate?
Pretty much, yeah, from what I can see at the minute. Like, he doesn't have any impact on the mids. When the mid fights are initially starting, he's going into the elbow and standing really passive into the elbow and just not doing anything. He's just looking at the map. So his soldiers are getting no follow-up, especially when they did a big double soldier bomb and Delhi was out of the mid completely. There was no support. They just sort of stood on their side, watched the team die, and then just realised, well, we can't do anything. Let's run away. It was instead of just taking the space that was gifted to them.
I've been avoiding saying his name all night, but I'm going to have to try. Klaz the sniper gets a nice headshot onto QB, and
but he's got it, choke. Alien left him. Alien went behind up top with a winger jump and just left his medic.
Okay, well, Raf's on the aggression now. He's no longer shackled by the bounds of a medic, and he gets body shot down, but does get the dying kill onto.
That's so bad. They didn't even force Auto. Auto's just going to cruise onto last now with the full Uber ad. And AZN's not going for the budget play. That's fine. But I don't know. That was a very poorly timed trade. Lose a player, then go for a trade, and then your pocket scouts run away from your medic to try and go behind with a winger jump and just leave him to die to a soldier and not even force the medic. That's just, I don't know. There's no real justifying that. If you're gonna go for a trade, there's only one thing you do with a trade. You get the Uber out. It's dead simple.
All right, are we feeling French here over on? Yeah, we are feeling French. They've put a scout into water, but he's met with just as much resistance as the Frenchies were. And oh god, look how much damage Milky's pumping out in this right-hand side. He's got a few players left to pipe down. Was there a saw in the mix of that?
Yeah, but
he drops. He had it. I saw the crackle, and Milky's still alive. He does go down eventually. Alto's the last one alive. AZN's actually going to make chase for the medic. We've got some respawners on the 3.5-star team coming back, but look at all those blue players, and they're stomping, trying to get to last. I don't think they'll commit fully because the pyro has already been pulled out. The engineer is building that sentry gun as we speak.
I don't think Patchouli had it on his screen, but there is a trick that you can do to medic. If you're just holding the right click, like permanent, while you're holding the left click, it should just insta-pop, I think, when you get 100%. So I think it was the thing where it says, I think it was the glitch where it says 100% on our screen, but 99 on his.
Oh.
So, but I'm not sure if I'm assuming he would know about the right click thing, where if you just hold right click, it'll insta pop. Or maybe he just thought he had the courage to hold it, so it's one of those. But
who knows? Another scout slightly Ubered into water. There's no resistance now, nobody hanging about at water at all, and they play it really quickly. It's an absolute blender, bloodbath, and the first round on the board for Garda Panteri.
That's poorly played, that hold there. Like, no one was ready to. No one was in a position ready to block the point. And Patchouli almost had Uber, but he was just running into the spawn too quickly. They could have easily taken that much stronger fight with the pyro and just committed to getting the Uber, because they were on 85 by the time the Uber came in, and it would have only needed about 5 seconds to get the Uber with that fight.
They just did not expect that Uber to be coming out of that quickly. They must have been building their britches off over on Garda Panteri. The mid is going much better for them this time. Nobody initially dying. They've managed to link up, but the core sort of collected focus fire from 3.5 stars manages to push them out of choke, and Alien Smiley's picking off what little remnants he can find on the floor. goes to show that 3.5 stars have got more strings to the bow when it comes to this midpoint.
Their mids are just much stronger. The coordinated aggression between Raph and ACN is just so much more concise. Mankey's just sort of walking around like a lost sheep. Like, he did a high bomb, landed on his side, was 20 HP when he landed, so he needed to get an arrow, and he just stood there and died instantly to a soldier. And then oh no, sorry, Bud was the one that died to the soldier. And Mankey went into his own drop down trying to chase soldiers. Sure, he managed to get a pick, but by that time he got a pick, he had already lost 2 in return for it.
Alright, we've got an Uber over on auto, Josh. Do you feel more confident for these last defences when Garda Panteri have this Uber charge in their back pocket?
This is like the first situation we've seen where both teams have had equal Uber. But if you're 3.5 stars, you want to be doing a play now before they've gone. No, this is your card now. This is your time to go. Sentry's down, and you've seen what the off classes are. This is your well, that's not losing a soldier in lobby is not your go-to cards, but.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much wiggle room do you usually give when it comes to? I thought that was a soldier switching to the last point then, but Mankey is trying to make waves, that license to mess about when the enemy roamer goes down. He actually pays Alien Smiley into the sentry, and that's pretty funny. AZN, he's coming back as sniper. This could be unexpected. You don't get too many roamer snipers nowadays.
Not since the day, well, I don't know, nobody was a sniper last season. It's a pretty
I knew you were
Roma
going to bring
sniper.
up D-Mul. You love that boy way too much. Alright, so let's see.
It's my boy.
He's your boy. AZN. Has he got that boy energy? Has he got that 91 coursing through his veins? Let's find out.
Again, this is the same. Mankey's going to get traded out here. If Delhi starts to... AZN,
chance that you can't reflect sniper bullets.
Perfect time to get a scout on point. Scout's in secret right now. If you there's no stickies on point. If he realizes he can just look at the point.
The sentry gun, he's scared of the sentry gun. He's actually shooting into the point.
The sentry doesn't cover point. That's why it's so good. That sentry gun's so bad for covering the point.
Yeah, the soldiers just went on there instead.
Like if you lose 2 people instantly, that's why you instantly know they're going to go for the points. You get your soldier at 300 either on the ring or just like standing in secret beside the point, just so he can block it and get stickies on the point as well. Like, it's not even that bad to even rotate your medic behind the point just so that you're in a position to block the point, because it caps way too fast.
Alright, Milky. Let's see if he can pick up on these mids. He wants to get out of that corner, just start throwing out some damage. And Mankey, he's actually going for the drop down play. He's very, very low though, will go down instantly, so no impact made from that play. And I see the bomb coming out from AZN. It's striking, but it's a lot more frayed here for 3.5 stars, and the scouts actually do clean up.
There's a much better mid and much more controlled from Garda. So Buds did a really good mid. He went all the way into the red big door and just didn't do any high bombs, didn't do anything stupid, just did low bombs all the way into the elbow and just distracted a lot of eyes. Mankey did the same thing on the red drop down, and both soldiers did, just by existing, they had already caused enough of a distraction. Also dying, scouts should be a bit more aware of what's going on there with the soldier advantage, but, still well played from the blue soldiers.
If you've been paying attention, Josh, we've got a Kritzkrieg pulled out from Garda Panteri. They're 2 rounds down with 10 minutes left. They want to pick up the pace of this game even more. Do you approve, or is this a bit clutching at straws here?
No, that's ideal. You've got 10 minutes left. You've got to make something happen. Like, it's only when it's in 5 minutes, that's when you should. When there's 5 minutes left, that's when you should slow the game down.
Crits early, but it's just Raph. It's just Raph here on his own, and he's happily takes a crit to the face if it means his team can get out. Milky's trying his best to fish for one more player in that big door area, but can't find it. I think they read him like a book there, Josh.
No, it's just poor from Garda. Like, you don't rush, you don't send the crits through choke with your demo going first. Of all the people, it needs to be charging up a sticky before he even goes around that. Like, Bud should be taking 300 and then just doing a bomb in the corner to take space, and then also having the scout go in. You need to get information from Milky so he knows where he's charging his stickies up straight away. And now they've done a really good push out with the pyro. This is amazing. They got 1, they're going to get 2, they're going to get all the cap time, and they still have Uber ad. And Uber against crits. 3 picks as well. Milky wants to try and go block second. He's caught in no man's land, and also
another crit.
He's juking and dodging. There's no way he lives.
Caught by that last sticky. Bless him, he did do a lot of surfing and dodging for how much hate it was being thrown onto him.
Down right now. No one's called him. Mankey's in drop down for free.
Oh, he's got the medic isolate, but can't find the air shot onto Patchouli. Nicely dodged. Has to pop over though, as KJ Kudo actually commits fully in. What a butchering! I know.
I'm very sure his name's Ed.
I'm not going to call him that. I'm going to call him by his cool alias online.
I respect that.
KJ Quad.
No, I mean, fair play to 3.5 stars. That was definitely like something unique. I mean, I'm no stranger to doing pyro push-outs and taking the pyro all the way to last. Pyro is busted in this game. If you can just keep the aggression going with a pyro, he's unstoppable. And even in this position here as well, pushing out onto Granary or Gully second with a pyro is actually nightmarishly hard. The pyro can deny so many areas because it's such narrow choke points. The pyro is actually busted in this scenario.
Oh, Josh, where were you in 2011 when I was playing pyro? Oh, okay, well, Alien Smiley's playing the point now. Ideal. This is like some old Ips kind of style of blast pushing out. Just get the pyro on the point. He can now actually stand on the point and just push people away, but he mistimes his air blast and it will get killed off.
This is such a good Uber. They could literally go straight back in now. They've got all the cap time in the world. Even though there's like 3v4, there's so much damage and there's so much cap time. This is still a potentially really good Uber. They just sticky the point, get the point, take the Uber off and just get easy kills.
Alright, it's eyes on Bud. Maybe they can push this out, but Deli's already got that top area on lockdown. He's not giving them an inch, let alone a mile. So this will be a full advantage for Patchouli and company. Let's see if they can make it work.
They just don't seem ready for anything. Like, they knew they had a pyro, but there was no adaptation at all. There was no sentry, no heavy. There was nothing in a position to block the point. There was no like funky sticky trap because the pyro's only got one play, and that's go water.
Oh, Scout goes water. Soldier follows up as well. This is a winning combination as they actually close the line. They don't even need it. The top squad is doing so well. Actually, maybe they do need it because they do get that Uber charge in the last dying second there for Garda Panteri. They got the heavy on the last point. They're sticking it up now. Deli gets W'd upon by a Scout. So, it's just... It was salvageable.
Raph, no way. I don't know if you just saw that. Ed took out the Gru. I ran into water with the Gru out. He did like a jump and strafed around the wrong side, and Raph walked up the other side of the ramp in water. So Ed went down the left ramp, Raph walked up the right ramp, and just backcapped behind Ed. That was amazing.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I can see why he was baiting Deli now. I could sort of see what he was going for, but I respect it.
3 rounds on the board, 6 minutes left. I mean, it's mathematical, but it's improbable. As we're going over to another mid. Nobody initially dying, everyone playing these sorts of low bombs. AZN getting a headshot there by the Garda Panteri soldiers. And with this collection of little skirmishes around the midpoint, they have enough player advantage to push this. Deli goes down, Patchouli goes down. Nobody's dying over on Garda. They could really keep snowballing this into a round.
Yeah, strong mid again. They're playing off the space better now, so they realise that. Oh, nice run on board on the end there. Salvage player made his nice little mid even better. The Garda soldiers are playing much better, but they're taking it much slower. They're not feeding. They're using the space that 3.5 stars are giving them, and that's like on the red big door and the red elbow, and they're just utilising it really well. They're drawing so many eyes. Milky's taking much more space, and Ed's actually keeping an eye on AZN now. AZN's gone drop down almost every middle, and they weren't adapting to it until now.
Another Scout. They actually had some stickies close to that area, but Deli's been fooled and destroyed by that flash Scout. And yeah, that's the play that I guess everyone's trying to make with that push.
Ed just mirrored the last push exactly the way that 3.5 stars have wanted to do it, but have failed it in so many ways because Ed just stood on the point with the Uber and was just chip-shotting the demo so the demo couldn't come up. Deli was just stuck in the water. Ed had 185 HP on the point. It was just a very easy cap. Milky, combined with Milky's stickies, nothing was stopping him.
Alright, 4-2, 4 minutes left. Again, mathematical but improbable. They have, and Milky is stuck in this elbow area. The soldiers, though, do come in. Security crew clean up against all that aggression that Milky was forced back from. So, another strong mid.
3.5 stars are losing the control right now. They're sort of like struggling on the mids. They've not really realised what's going on. like 3.5 stars, if they just left a roamer in big door with 300 HP, they could easily pick up like the blue soldiers, let them like walk into him, or just have like one soldier just even playing passive. Because they need to realize that the blue soldiers, they're not feeding into them anymore. They're not gifting them free kills, so they need to start adapting to what's going on themselves. Garda adapting, 3.5 stars out.
Well, it gets a bit more difficult for them, Josh, as they do have an Uber charge now on Patrulli, so they have to be very, very clever over on Garda Panteri, because not only have they got to make this, obviously, the last point capped, they've got to disarm the medic's Uber. Hero shot, oh my god, he's absolutely pelted with bombs and flames, and he's going to actually take a quick breather, take another door, and try again.
He's not going to drop Patrulli unless he goes from Riverside, because Patrulli's hiding in the dispenser. I'm pretty sure that's like very, very, very hard to hedge.
Oh no, Delhi gets the...
Heads on point, heads on point, heads on point!
They throw the Pyro on there, they throw Wrath on there onto what as well. They've got two bodies, they could maybe play this, but they don't want to keep playing with the sniper inside. They actually want to go outside and just play safe.
I'm surprised no one saw that scout going into water. There's so many eyes like paying attention to Riverside. Surely someone should have seen him. That was way too close. I mean, the thing is as well, this is like good for 3.5 stars, because the more the clock runs there and it's completely free. I think Mankey's on spy now.
Yeah, he's on spy. He's eyeing up that point.
I think he's going to go for the spy capture. Yeah.
It's going to be hard though, because the stickies are on there, and there's that one arrogant sticky. Yep, they push in, they're trying to cap it, but he's pushed off slightly. The Pyro's burning him to a crisp, and they've got bodies on point, so they can't even weasel it out in front of their eyes. KJ, Quad, Ed, dead.
I don't know, that was poorly mistimed. They had an idea with Mankey on spy, which is Mankey plays the point, but they went for a trade at the same time, and then when they traded, it just gifted the Pyro an easy block because he was just Ubered. It was pointless. And Mankey even got off the point after he cleared the sticky anyway. He could have just shot the sticky and then jumped onto the point. There was only one sticky on like the front of the point. The rest of them were on the back of the point. That was I think that's Garda rushing it, maybe panic setting in because they know they've got no time left to misplay. Now they're going for the big dry push. Big shot bust, 6-man. Milky's going to create a 2-pick straight away. That's pretty much over. Mankey gets picked up on the big door in a 1v1. Like, not even anywhere close to it, but they can just take it slow and just like bully them out.
Yeah, the scouts are going to have to go absolutely freakishly huge here. They're doing a good job of dodging all this fire and actually charioting their way through. They focus fire to that one scout. Alien Smiley has to take an Uber, counter Uber comes out, but it's a game of the clock as well as a game of MG scout. And they can't really keep chasing because they need to get some cap time, and scouts are the ones that want to get that cap time, so they're going to start that now, and they just need to set up for a last defense. It doesn't even have to be the best defense, just a last defense over on 3.5.
Yeah, it's only mathematically possible if they win the round in the next 10 seconds. That's the only way it's mathematically possible, and it is still possible, but they need to get in now.
Well, they're
trying to go to the hardest door possible. What are they doing?
On the door, there's nothing they can do. I don't know why they pushed that door. They've got cap time going there, but they're throwing everybody on top of it. There's one soldier scout. They actually do get around. Okay.
They get the round. There's not enough time now because of the 10 seconds of time between the rounds. It's just going to run down the clock straight all the way. I don't know why they were going try and go through shutter door against the demo. Like, just go to top left or go Riverside. Like, use the space, use the map space. You knew there was no sentry, so there's nothing blocking those doorways. They could have had that. Like, they could have actually had a chance on this round if they'd just gone a bit quicker.
See, this is where KJ Quad would, or I guess Ed, you like to call him, would be like, don't worry guys, it's half time. We'll just go pick this up in the next half. Oh wait, it's 30 minutes. It's over. The game is done. So it is going to be 3-4 for our final scoreline between Garda Panteri versus 3.5 star. They will take the first map over on the French squad, but they've got Reckoner, and they could possibly redeem this. And 3.5 stars, they're happy though. They really need the points to kind of get back onto that table.
I give them a good respect, Garda, because that was a good comeback, but it was also on 3.5 stars for letting it happen. 3.5 stars went 4-1 up. They had all the control in the world. Their pushes were, I mean, their last pushes were not on point. They beefed a lot of last pushes, but the mids were on point. The first like 15 to 20 minutes, that was all 3.5 stars. They had full control and they were just shutting everything out. Every play was being read like a book. It was really good. Then they just sort of fell off. I don't know if they got complacent. You don't really want to start the slow game until you've got 5 minutes left.
Hmm.
That's my sort of like pro my my
There you
sort
go.
my sort of game plan for it all. Like I
There
like
you
to
go,
keep
students. Write it in your handbooks. You do not want to start any sort of slow play until 5 minutes, decrees the teacher.
5 minutes is that last 5 minutes. That's when you can really put the pressure onto a lot of teams in that situation. Like when Raf was 4-2 up and they were on their second. That's the exact moment they should have just instantly just slowed the game down. So I think there was like 6 minutes left on the clock at that stage. That's when you should be really like tightening the grip. That's when you make the enemy team start sweating buckets. That's when it's like that's when they're like panicking. They're thinking like, shit, we have no time. What do we do? What do we do?
Yeah,
Like that.
and
That's why
it's
it's so good because when you're playing aggressive and you're keeping the game fast, people don't realize how quick this game goes.
hmm.
You got soldiers going in, you got Uberad pushes going in, you got round after round after round, and then when you get 5 minutes, you think, right, now we play the clock. That's when the mental game comes into it, and teams are like, oh, now what do we do? It's
All
just
right.
shifted.
Let's take a break from the mental and let's go into the mathematical. I know you don't care for the stats, Josh, but I've got some stats you will care about. It's the mid-fight breakdowns. I've been scrolling down to that unfabled part of the stat page, away from the damage stats, and God, you're right. Look at the difference between the mid fights. It seems like 3.5 stars, easy peasy for them. And then suddenly a switch turns in the brains of Garden Pandaria and they start picking up all the mids from that point on. Was that 3.5 stars beat like dropping the ball, or was Garden Pandaria like picking their game up on these mids?
Garda picked up their game. Bud and Mankey changed up their style completely. Like at the start, they were going for fake. The first two mids, they went for fake bombs. Fake bombs are just such a trash idea, you know. So they're you soak up way too many heals from your bow. You don't really get much done with it, and you just ground for free that you can otherwise take for your team instead. Then the next two mids, they tried going like really, really aggressive, but Delhi was in a position just to counter it straight away. And the Red Scouts, you can see the game plan of what Alien and QB is on mid, which is get to Delhi, tech Delhi. So the
Hmm.
aggression was picked up very quickly. But then they started just taking the space that they saw that was being given to them. That space was on 3.5 stars big door and elbow because there was no one running up Patchouli, so they were able to get a lot of spam onto him early, and then they were also able to just take that space. They drew the scout's eyes away from Milky, and Milky was just able to dish out lots more damage across the point. But the red soldier bombs also fell off. They after that, like after the fourth mid, their double bombs just stopped happening. AZN kept sort of going in by himself. He was just getting picked off by Ed, who was just 185, sat on the boxes on mid, just doing what he wanted. Sort of made it a little bit too easy for them. Like that's when you need to be when you lose two mids in a row. That's when you need to be thinking, right, what's going on?
Hmm.
That's when you can like slow the game down for a minute and just be like, all right, lads, what's going on? What do we try next time? What can we change? But I mean, I guess when you're in that control position, you're 4-1 up. Sometimes you can get complacent. It does happen. It happens to every team when you think the game is that going that easy. When you have that much control, but it's when teams actually start adapting to you. That's when you need to also be ready. That you need to realize this is Prem. You can't sit back and take it easy.
Hmm.
Even the lower Prem teams can still cause a lot of upsets.
All right. Now, speaking of upset, you were quite complimentary of Delhi's performance, but Milky, though, you were a bit more critical. Is it? I mean, with the game now calmed down and over with, do you stand by that Milky is having a poor game, or did he kind of redeem himself in that tail end?
No, it wasn't him really redeeming himself. To be honest, he had from the first 15 minutes. His impact was just irrelevant. It was not there. Delhi's impact you could feel just by watching the mid fights play out. Second mid he picks up auto instantly. Third mid he's just spamming four pipes and hits three of them straight away. The impact is just much more present on the last pushes as well. He's just got such a more dominant role, but also the 3.5-star team is also played around him. You know, he's got the carry in his name, but I don't think he realizes that he's not just a carry. You know, he's a carry because his team let him be a carry.
Hmm.
And I feel like the blue team is just not, their team style is not based around Milky at all, which I thought it would be, considering how strong of a demo he can be. I feel like it's much more based around the scouts more than anything. I just don't I don't see Milky being able to take the Ubers into them like he should be able to. I don't see him being able to get the big double bombs, like double sticky bombs with the Uber. It just doesn't seem to be there.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is Garda Panteria versus 3.5 stars. We're in our week 3 in like week 6 technically, and we're playing our ETF2L season 38. Let's see how we kick off on our first mid, as Raph kind of initially punishes a bit of Milky, but doesn't really follow up. There's no real huge follow up, and from that point, the dominoes fall a little bit one by one for Garda Panteria, picking off. Patchouli does manage to weasel his way out, but a new quick, swift doorway taken by Bud gives Patchouli to Sweat, but doesn't bring him down.
Strong mid, good defensive play. They took the space that Triana. They just sort of mirrored the mids, but they mirrored it in a way that they took the space very quickly. That 3.5 stars give them, and they were able to use the map to their advantage because those soldier bombs were very unimpactful. Like I mean, they did do a lot of damage onto Milky, but there was no cleanup onto him, so the mid was sort of lost straight away, and they just died they died all in quick, like very quick succession. It's a very hard mid to go aggressive on though, because they can just see you coming in so many different angles. Like, there's so much open ground. If you want to take aggression, you want to take it like, you want the aggression to be coming in quite instantaneously. So like, you want to be like stopping them in the choke points, not allowing them to get all that room. Because when the scouts take room, the aggression game just becomes so much more difficult.
Well, dare I say, I think we've got a bit of a stalemate, a standoff between these two teams, as no one looks like they want to push out first. There we go. Mankey is going to be the brave one out of everybody and will go down. It was a distraction for Bud, but Bud was cleaned up just as quick, and with 2 soldiers down, that has got to be the opportunity that 3.5 stars are looking for. They're pushing from lower.
Delhi's already in. Delhi's got a massive amount of aggression here. He gets a really easy force. They should be taking a lot of space with this trade now. They should be taking so much more space.
They were. I thought Milky might have been caught out with some nice stickies at the end, and yeah, they just come pouring out of every doorway offered up to them. They can't really find the scout peppering that they want to get on these 3.5 stars, just playing the heals as well. And with 1 scout left of the world, it's your buddy Ed, and he's out of there.
That was a good trade. I mean, they knew they had the heal advantage, and they knew they had the damage advantage. Like, the player advantage wasn't even a thing in that fight, because Otto was 20 HP after he popped. Milky got launched into the skybox, and by the time he landed, then the Uber was over. There was no way he was getting out of that. Otto got picked up because he was dead low. It was just a good Uber trade, you know. There was just misdirection as well. Like, they weren't set up for that Uber trade at all. They were walking across the mid as if they were going to red toxic, and then decided, oh no, let's go back and take a trade into them. They should have just let them come to them in that situation. If you're going to take one, just play a side together.
I'd be fine with my being wants to read that name as classy, but I won't say it. Sniper, blue man, looking at these doorways, just finding to see who's the easy pick. Delhi goes down, what the frog? And there's a scout going down to a stray full body charge shot, and Mankey tries to play off of the little numbers advantage, and the lack of sticky somewhere does go down instantly. It's a shame, because I feel like they could have maybe made a push out with that.
I don't think he needed to counter-sack there at all. His team, I'm more disappointed in his team. They got 2 picks and showed no signs of hitting the W key. Every one of them was just stood on blue second while Mankey actually tried to make something off what had just happened. So it's just, I don't know, it's just poor. They could have easily walked in through lower. Like, 3.5 stars are taking the space when they get 2 picks. If Garda's not going to do that, then Garda's going to lose this game.
No round on the board yet. I guess maybe both of these teams feeling each other out, feeling a bit of pressure that if they're the first team to lose that round, it's really hard to come back. But the 3.5 stars, they're posturing, they're trying to get somebody in there. It's just so difficult, it looks.
It's just a poor map. Like, this second, like, I mean, whatever admin it was that decided he wants this in there is, you know, I don't think he should be allowed to make these decisions. Because there's
poor
just
Reckoner. But look how pretty it is, Josh.
there's just no advantageous like angles to sack from. I mean, QB's on sniper now, but that's pretty much your only go-to angle. Oh, that's a nice little spot actually. I've never seen that one on the box before.
There you go. Completely opinion changed now. He's going to drop into the lower area.
Why would you do that?
Oh, snipe! QB gets on top of Milky. Pick a door, any door, Josh. It's yours, and it's there for free. As they're going to enter slowly from the choke area. They pop first on Garda Panteri, despite 2-player going down. Patrouille's going to pop aggressive into it. They're trying to cut off that little tiny doorway. They find one scout, but Ed's giving them the runaround. It's like, fine, you want me, you can try and chase me. And they just ignore him. They want to get auto instead. Nice sort of focus and objective gaming coming out from 3.5 stars there. Not taking the bait from Ed. And they are pushing to last already. Nobody's got any health to really defend it. And I thought we were going to go into a massive tyrant about how difficult last is. But if you make a beef of second like that, last is easy.
There's just no, like, just the direction of it again was so bad. Ed decides to, Patchouli could have milked that so much better as well. Like, Deli took 20 damage and Patchouli popped. Like, Ed has to take that trade into 5 people, and he pops so early. They could have, like, Uber could have just been a bit better. I mean, granted, they still won the round, so obviously it doesn't matter. But, I don't know, just in the long run, you want to be definitely holding those Ubers a bit more.
Pushing right side here on Garda Panteri. Raph just backs out. He doesn't want to stick by his big door. He's going to go back all the way around. Actually, fakes out a bit, and I think he's going to come back into that squad. He links up with AZN, who's going high in the sky, trying to get on top of the medic. Does find him, so with Patchouli alive and healthy, they just have one easy play for 3.5 stars. Recruit and get out and get Ubered.
Good mid from Raph. Like you say, oh, hang on, the miss not over yet. Big high bombs coming in from both blue soldiers. They do
Scouts coming in as well. They pop Uber, yeah.
No, I mean, that's understandable why the QB was 20 HP, Alien 70, and Patchouli I think was probably very close to dying. So.
Oh, it's Milky.
They don't know about KLSE hidden under the point, or maybe they do.
Oh, they should know
look
now. He's spooked though. He's like, huh, red players can't be the point. Who could have seen this coming? Well,
I hope he realizes that he's ran to the wrong side of the map as well.
Yeah,
he's just 1v1. What a beast! All right, fair play.
My god, he's coming back. They don't know.
This is actually really good for them.
Why don't they not know? He could maybe kill. Deli's just found him now, but then he just decides to go backwards again. He's going to hoover up a couple of health packs. He's distracting them. Deli's getting some fat pipes, but it's not enough. The wall gets in for free because they were too busy looking at that scout.
First time I've seen Milky have like a good impactful bomb then. He just bombed in, hit 3 pipes in a row and everyone died around it. I kind of wish I could see a little bit more of that, but you know, maybe he'll get some confidence back over time. But yeah, I don't know, that was really, really poor direction from everyone on 3.5 stars. They lost QB to the guy who ran behind, and then for some reason they tried to keep going. And I think Raph ran out of ammo because he was stuck with an escape plan in cargo, and Edge just came in behind and cleaned him up with a quick chip shot. So it's just a really poor push.
100% Uber. Let's see. You don't get too many of these in TF2, so I want to see how they want to formulate this push. They're going through the big fat main door, and Milky will jump in with focus down the sentry gun, check. Now to try and lock down one of these doors and just play from this point on. Some nice little pipes and sticks, and they're pressuring the point as well. They've got the demo man in place. The heavy weapons guy is out, but he's not in position. 1-1.
Good push. Took the gun out instantly, isolated the soldiers that were on the right side. There's not the skybox very low, obviously because it's inside, so there's not really much places for soldiers to jump around. And then they just isolated the fat boy after he came out with the pyro. It was just good focus fire. Like they didn't even need to play the points because they got 2 picks straight away.
Okay, so the mids. They've been kind of hairy for both of these teams, not really decisive like the Gully Wash ones, and they had nice play coming out from Raph before where he kind of just ducked out and then ducked back in again, and they were a little bit torn at the seams over on Garda Panteri. Do we deal with Raph? Do we deal with the combo? And all that space that's been brought by Raph, 3.5 stars tried to abuse, but the counter-attack comes out. Ed and the other scout is just crawling all over them. Wow.
Really nice counter bomb from Monkey. Like, he bombed in from the red cargo and landed on top of Deli's head when Deli tried to walk across, and Deli just got crushed straight away, so there was no follow-up aggression for AZN. And then Rap's aggression was too late to come in to try and support his team, so they just got run over. That was good, really good counter-aggression from Garda.
Alright, and again, another. I said that you don't get this too much in TF2, but Garda Panteri are proving me wrong. They've got the level 2 sentry gun, they've got the pyro to protect it this time, so it should be getting more difficult for them over on Garda Panteri. And it looks like they're thinking, why mess with a good thing? It worked so well last time. They go through the main door, they jump the demo man on the right hand side. The sentry gun is a bit more difficult to bring down. Deli forces himself on this on the left side there, really wants to defend from this place on, and actually manages to keep himself alive, and this is already a bit damning and difficult for Garda Panteri. It's getting too hot in this kitchen. The heavy weapons guy is on point this time, Josh, and he's not laying anybody on it.
3.5 stars have realised, like, credit to them, this was very quickly. They've adapted to that last push because they've realised that how easy it is to spam the combo when they're trying to do this main push, because the doorway's so open for spam from the demo and the two soldiers. Milky got juggled in the Uber, lost the Uber charge halfway through, and the sentry put him down to 80 HP, which let AZM just clean him up very quickly with a bomb. Now they've pushed out onto second as well. They'll clean up this guy who's going to go for a back cab and get a free second out of it as well, and just leave the Ubers.
The control point is being contested.
18 minutes left. Round apiece for both of these teams. As I feel like they're still kind of feeling out each other. No one's really lost their way in these games, and maybe a bit more controlled compared to our Gully Wash map. So it is gentleman's sort of agreement that usually the mid holder will get aggressive here, and yeah, they've actually opted for the sniper for Garda Panteri, so let's see what he can cook up. He's got a hammer now.
That's pretty standard as well. Like this is why this second point is so bad for this. It just doesn't lend itself to, it's just not nice for soldiers to go through, because you can just get stuffed so quickly. Like, at least with Metalworks, at least you've got a nice high open alley. It gives soldiers like breathing room, gives them freedom. I mean, you obviously see the soldiers bombing in straight away, but at least you've got more flexibility. Like this, you're just watching a choke point for 20 minutes while the sniper just takes pot shots. So there's nothing really amazing that you can do.
Oh, it may have found the sight line. Oh, it doesn't quite
You can't shoot under that.
You can't shoot in that little forklift area where the stairs are.
I've experimented with that. You can't shoot under that. So.
Thank you. He goes down in the little toxic room.
This is a perfect time to be aggressive if you're 3.5 stars. You know they have a sniper and the one soldier down. There's less spam, less squad. Like, definitely don't want to be going in through cargo doors. Like, lower door or toxic is your best friend here, not cargo, where Milky's going to stuff you.
It feels a bit bad though, as you're just playing into the sniper sight line and just hoping that I hope you miss, boy, because I don't want to pop an Uber here in Toxic and try and hunt down all your players in this giant midpoint.
True, but I mean, if you just make a little bit of space and then get a soldier in, that's like the best you can really sort of hope for, because the sight line from Toxic to Toxic is horrendous. I mean, the fact
we're trying for the impossible shot again.
The fact that the sniper can even like stand on the far side of the mid and just watch like almost all the doorways is ridiculous as well.
Alright, Josh, I've had enough of your bitching, your moaning. I want you to open up Hammer Editor. You've opened Reckoner right now. How do you pick this map over on this second point?
You remove it. It's that simple. You remove it and get a good map in. You get a map that's actually balanced for all the classes.
God damn. I walked into that one. Okay, we're making the play. Raph is taking that play out of that bookie, like he said, throwing a soldier in, trying to buy some room for his team to get in. That would have been a sick air shot if Asian got it, but he didn't. And they popped Uber now, trying to solidify this midpoint. And I can see why you want to hold on to midpoint. That's your respawn advantage. Any sort of trade here is good. Oh,
beautiful bomb from Deli.
Fat bomb. Deli's still alive. He plays the lock.
Demo diff. Absolute demo diff.
That's some Chad energy if I've ever seen it.
I mean, I was expecting 3.5 stars to do that, because I don't know if oh wait, hang on, before that, Mankey's hiding lower.
Yeah, he wants to go. He's dealing with the midpoint. Nice little serve coming out from QB, and all he can really do is delay. He's trying to play the corner. QB kind of getting a bit ballsy, really.
Oh
Oh,
my
Manky!
god, he dies to that.
I can't believe that. Where did that dying rocket come out of? Okay, well, he does. Martha done him. Ed.
Wait, Auto
Oh,
dies.
no, Auto went
Easy
down.
Easy went behind.
Oh, no.
The saving grade.
Well,
Well
this
played,
is.
well played from ACN.
The control point is being
Is that-
captured.
I mean, on that mid exchange, I was fully expecting 3.5 stars to go back in. I don't know if you saw the health of all the blue players, like, even just during the Uber. Like, Milky was on 20 HP again before the Uber got popped on him. Otto was down to 50 HP. Bud had 10 HP and he was just jumping around trying to find health packs. It was such a good, like, it was definitely the fight 3.5 stars wanted to take, and Delhi showing us why. Beautiful, beautiful bomb.
3.5 stars now. They have to show what a coordinated Uber push looks like. As so far, all their last points, actually, they go for just the very ambitious sort of bomb onto the medic from that little bunker area. So difficult to pull off. Look at all this damage being pumped out from Delhi into this corner. Everyone's been eviscerated, Josh.
Fantastic last push, very nice and clinical. They didn't allow them to get any space in that corner with the fat boy. Like, they stuffed him instantly in the door before he gets out. Otto and I think it's Milky died to the same rocket from Raf and the same pipe from Delhi. Just a sort of really, really perfect last push. That aggression on the doorways allows you Scout to get all the cap time in the world, so round well deserved.
Alright, we're back to mid. And the mids have been touch and go, I feel like, for both of these teams. And they actually want to focus down Auto. He does a good job. Okay, well, they love it. Bath was all waiting in that lower area. You know, maybe a miscommunication probably would have called out that Raph was there. Auto wouldn't have auto jumped at that health pack.
Just looking to see now, they've got a lot of like counter aggression going on here. This is why they should have really. AZN should not have left this combo there. They should have just blobbed together. This was. Surely you know this is what they're gonna do. Surely you know.
The control point
Like,
is
you're
being
Prem
contested.
level. They're obviously gonna feed into you. Just blob up. You don't need to go for bombs on the demo who's walking by himself. He wants you to do that.
I mean,
That's such a poor play from the
I'm
French.
gonna be the defender of some of these teams. It's a hard mid to blob up on because there's just so many angles and like crevices and nooks and crannies and places that people spring from. It's a bit awful, I feel.
I'm gonna counter argue you with that.
Alright.
If you could literally back into toxic and back into cargo, and
Okay,
two people look one way and the last person looks the other way, and you're fine, and the
Yeah,
and
fair
your
play.
medic is
Fair
safe.
play. We haven't seen anybody back off into there yet. They've always just decided to take that high ground or that sort of area behind the crate and think like, yeah, we can deal with all these. We're blobbing up. This is TF2. It should be easy peasy.
Yeah, I think it was just a misplay from the Frenchies there. It's just one of those. But it is potentially around costing because I mean, Ubers are equal, but you're in a position. Oh wait, they
Milky's
didn't think
in.
it was. They thought it was out.
Yep, and they're on top of poor Delhi. All he can do is run around in circles. They've got the Uber charge now. They've held down the mouse 2 key, and they will defend this last point.
Nice.
Demoran. Oh, yes, hasn't they actually killed it? Serves the shotgun
Good arrow.
from Alien Smiley, and they can re-enter the fight with a new gust of wind in their sail. They've got Scout on point, Sticky's on point, everybody's on point. It's the party on point, Josh. Everyone's invited. Blue teams are crashing it. ACN's holding the line.
Bud might go for this. Bud's going for it.
Oh, they throw another soldier onto there. Bud's been going down. He takes out Raph in his dying breath. QB's back on. They've got Delhi back running around in circles on that last point. They've got an Uber charge though.
I can't believe how well that worked out for Garda. Like killing AZN and Delhi with the Uber. That was meant to be equal. And then popping dead late. Manky had a lovely little play. Manky was hiding in the corner in the spawn, and QB like switched off NG and back to Scout and got instantly airshot by Manky when he walked out. That should have actually been round winning because of that, but they still have the big Uber out to use now. They do the same push. They get stopped by the same push again with all this coordinated spam.
Yeah.
Only now the gun goes down. It's really bad. AZ gets a fat bomb. The fat boy's already made his way out of the doorway though, so it's going to be almost impossible unless comes to the point.
Welcome to the Caster Live Shots. Whenever you say the term almost impossible or impossible, the teams make it happen. They find a way. Not through their own good play or anything like that. It could be just from sheer blind luck. And I think that's one of those camps there.
I mean, they need to. That last mid as well for the 3.5 stars at the start was like pure blind luck with Auto surfing back into the 8 Raph when he was hiding lower. But it's not going to happen this time because they brought out cargo instead of lower.
Alright, Bud can. I want, hopefully, oh no, Mankey can. I'm waiting on one of these soldiers to get some nice bombs in, but it's just a bit intimidating. First jumps coming out from 3.5 stars. Mankey mainly just counter-jumping aggression. Bud will actually be the real bomber here as they get on top of 3.5 stars. So, God, it must have gone wrong on every front here, Josh, because there's no players dead for Garda Panteri. The aggression was failure, the defense was a failure, this midpoint was a roaring success for Garda Panteri.
Deli just got picked up by a scout that had managed to work his way in behind, like all the way around. He pushed around his side, went through red cargo and just got in behind with, I think it was Bud. And it was when both red soldiers did a bomb. That was when they counter-aggressed, and Deli had no one there to protect him, so he just died instantly, and then their combo just followed suit. It was just... They need to realise they can't just do this aggressive play. They just need to take it slow, feel it out, and just spam it out. Let Garda take the initial aggression, and then you counter-aggress.
Oh, we're going from... Oh wait, no, we're going for main still. We've popped in now. They've got Handpan's already out. They're not even going to die for sentry gun, all sorts of cookie cutter. And the stickies are doing work. They've, I guess, nothing really accomplished. Spent so much time in the air that by the time they landed on the point, they could just get cleaned up by a trap.
Deli changed his focus this time. I mean, I don't know if you saw the chat as well. Otto was trying to be cheeky with the BM, saying, yeah, just keep focusing me. But Deli's just focused the point super hard this time and just got 3 kills instantly because of it. But that's the thing with every last push that Garda do. They have a scout go onto the point instantaneously with the Uber. So as long as you have someone ready for that or have stickies ready for that, you can adapt to it.
Bud bombs in, forces the 3.5 star Uber, and they can't really do much with it. They're out clean here for Garda Panteri. They're already setting up the second point, but I think it's more likely that they're making the push to mid.
That's a fine situation to be in. You got mids, 6 alive. They've got to wait for their respawners. You can get the Uber up. I mean, if one of the scouts was building, that would absolutely be much more helpful instead of both of them. They're just running around like headless chickens. One of these build. I mean, no one spotted this Uber as well. Look how much space they've got in for free. They haven't even popped Uber. Bud kills himself though.
What? Alright, okay, well, they have gone in somewhat for free on this right-hand side. They haven't popped in the Uber just yet, and Deli's being bullied by 2 scouts from mid-range, and the Uber charge comes out now. They're chasing with it. 2 soldiers down for Garda Panteri, but they can still make a lot happen with the players that they've got left.
We saw this situation in Gully Wash with 2 scouts versus 2 scouts, and red scouts got absolutely crushed, so I'm not sure about them taking this. I don't feel confident, and especially when that happens. He just walks in and doesn't take any damage, just instantly picks up the
Alien Smiley, he wants a... Oh god, that's like 2 different endings for both. One goes really positive, one goes really negative, and they're trying to just blow them up at the door instead, because I think once they get in, that's going to be this last point over and done with. So the stand is made at the doorways, delaying what time they can. Petruli's back to the world of the living. They can get some heals pumped out, they can get some sentry guns built up, but an Uber charge will be waiting for them over on Garda Panteri.
As long as they keep the stickies around the point nice and spaced, it means Ed can't just get on the point instantly, because that's all Ed is looking to do with these Ubers. So he lets Milky do all the damage, and he just tries to cap the point while the distraction's there. Yeah,
they try and play the door nice and quick, maybe cheekily see if they can get that medic.
Nice,
wow, so much counter!
Yeah. He does it every time. He's just... For some reason, you can cap the point while standing on a little ledge beside the greenhouse. For some reason, the map maker thought, oh yeah, that's a good feature. I'm going to add that when it's not even on the control point itself.
I was kind of wondering. I was like, why is it not getting blown up by the stickies? Does that mean the stickies can't touch that?
No, you can put stickies on it, but if you just clear 1 or 2 stickies there, you can just stand on
No, but if the
ledge,
stickies are on point, they can't reach that lip. Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and people think this is a good map.
Okay, well, we're going into another round of said map. Raph picks up Mankey very early, so I think the blob are sighing a big relief. And Auto didn't
get the memo.
Oh no, he definitely wanted to keep fighting for some reason, and the rest of his team wanted to get out. And I could see the line of the pipe and Auto jumping into it in slow. Oh, Deli!
Nice pipes, Deli.
What are these pipes? These peeps? Okay, so they're coming back into this. They're a round down, but they feel like they're round up in their minds. Mankey Oh wait, I read that one.
The control point.
I'm not going to put that mid entirely on auto because I feel like there was just miscommunication from the entire team. There was lots of like stutter stepping from his scout to like go in and go out instead of just like making a decision. So he's probably just followed his scout and then just got caught out because of it. But you know, it's a costly mistake. It needs to be very decisive. If you get bullied out that far, it's just instantly hold out.
Okay, well, they throw Deli in, see if they can cheekily get auto, but it can't. It's a difficult map, we understand. Raph throws himself into this corner, puts out a lot of damage, sets the footwork, but I'm not seeing much follow-up. Was Milky just keeping them out of that last?
Raph sort of saved that push just by getting the medic in the corner when he tried to come out of the door, but you see the differences between both last pushes now. You know, like Ed's the second of the defending team would have been in spawn, Ed would have been on that point straight away, and they need Alien to be replicating that as well. Otherwise, they're just not going to be salvaged. They're not going to make enough out of these last pushes. Because when they're in spawn, you want to put the pressure on to make them come out of spawn. You want them to come to you while your soldiers are bombing, and they're just going to get crushed by the spam.
I think Milky was just hiding in some random corner of last point and just keeping everybody out. So when they popped in Delhi, they really couldn't follow up with any scouts at all. They actually deal with the hiding sentry gun in the corner, sneaky, as Ed and Auto, they're going to go down. A lot of damage laid out right on top of them. They're trying to play the point now, but I think they want kills rather than the point, because the point's just been going so disastrously wrong for them. AZN can just take his sweet time here, shoot, rocket at floor, get killed.
Much better last point. Alien actually played it much better as well. Alien was like, because he started shooting the stickies and tried to go in the same corner that Ed did, and that forced Bod to have to try and bomb the point, but he had to bomb into Maneuvered Scout, so that's already a recipe for disaster. But he has no choice in those situations because the cat point again super fast. He has no choice, so that sort of gives them another two free kills.
Look at that, chat. 3 rounds, both of these teams on 3 minutes 33 seconds. It's a lucky number here. Let's see if we can make it a third here. They throw in Raph. Raph is getting so much done on these mids. What seems to be like a distracting sort of big air bomb just turns into a powerhouse of a bomb, and his team have an easier job because of it.
That's a beautiful distraction from AZN. Like, Raph was hiding in his own cargo, and AZN did a swoop bomb on the mid, so he distracted 4 sets of eyes. Raph just waddled into them and shot 4 rockets and did about 500 damage, and everyone just fell over because of it. Beautiful bomb setup. And he's going for the budget bomb and gets piped. That's not the kind of play you go for, because now you've just gifted them a free pick into your last defense. And the spawn times are a bit favourable for defense on this, so he will get the spawn for the second wave of this whole thing.
Okay, so they deal with the sentry gun, they force them on the other side, they're already switching sides. Deli's just committing in, right on top of them. There's a lot of players on point there, but they're all sharing the same spam. They can deal with one scout, right? Easy peasy. 4 rounds.
Yeah, they've just mirrored Garda's push entirely. Alien's getting the point. Alien could have capped it. He actually got off the point when he saw the fat boy coming instead of just staying on the point. If he didn't have actually got off, he would have capped it before half of his team died. But I can understand why he did get off, because it wasn't just a fat boy, it was a fat boy and a scout at him, so I guess he just did what he thought best in the situation. But good last pushes again.
2 minutes left. The squeeze of the timer should be apparent for these teams. If they've been looking at the timer, it's been a quick kind of game towards the end of it, and we're just mirroring each other over on these 2 maps and trying to kind of counter jump these soldiers, but they're just having a much stronger mid over on 3.5, and there's a bit of skirmish here and there. They're blobbing up, they're actually playing across point, but that's that issue I was telling you about, Josh. You blob up on that mid, you take the high ground, but everyone just comes out of these crevices in these different directions and gets taken out.
Good game, well played from I mean, that mid was so...
The control point is being contested.
I was really worried for Patchouli on that mid, because both of his scouts went down onto the floor to chase KLSC, who was trying to get on the flank, and Mankey had a free bomb onto Patchouli. And he was on him for at least 6 seconds, which is more than enough to kill a medic if you're a roamer at top level. And, I don't know, he whiffed his first rocket. They're going in for a the bot just gets owned completely. Mankey's going to get cleaned up now. Uber gets forced. Clutching gets straws. 40 seconds left. There's not enough time. Yeah, this should be another round for them. If they want to.
It's like a victory lap almost. There's obviously, oh my, and yeah, just a victory lap, a nice little pop, easy claim here is Garda Panteri just suiciding, and it's already 5-3 in their hearts, so they make it so in this map. 16 seconds left. It's not even possible for more, so we're just going to enjoy our little bite-sized garbage time and give a congrats to 3.5 stars.
Yeah, that's well played by them. Still think their gully wash their gully wash. Don't think it should have been as close as they let it get to. Could have probably kept it at 4-1 or maybe made it 5-1. If they didn't, to be honest, it could have actually been over much quicker for them if they need to just work on the last pushes a little bit, and then the rest of it, that map will just be a really strong map for them.
Well, if you peer into the reflection, Josh, the reflection will sometimes peer back at you. A lot of mirroring of plays and almost climates for these two teams as a comeback they couldn't make on Garden Pandaria, but a comeback has happened for 3.5 stars. They were down a few rounds against Garden Pandaria, and they made the comeback. Impressive.
It was good. I liked it. I mean, if you're gonna look at this from like just a very broad view, main thing is demo diff. You can look at this game from whatever player you want, but the key impact is demo diff. And then combine that with there was also the red soldiers. They started playing around the map much better, because initially they were just doing double bombs into them at the same time and just sort of landing together in the same spots and just getting crushed together because of it. When they started just having one person distract and one person sort of just do sort of waddling mids, it worked really well, because they just didn't have any idea where Raph was going to come from, so he was still dishing out lots of damage. Even if he died, the damage was there, which was more than enough for 3.5 stars to capitalize on. Again, could have gone either way. If Mankey doesn't whiff his rockets on the last mid, when Pachuli's in a corner, that's the thing. Pachuli was stuck in a corner. There was nowhere for him to go. There was no health packs. There was no scout speed. It's just, I don't know. Maybe pressure gets to him. It's one of those. Could have been that. Could have just been a miss.
I feel like I'm umming and ahhing and like scratching my head. And I feel like just a little bit of nothing was outright terrible, except maybe like the Demo Man matchup, like you said. But like everything could do with a little tune-up from Garden Pandaria, which is good, because it goes to show like there's no glaring massive issues. They just need to kind of tighten the nuts and bolts a little bit. Maybe some communication a little bit. I remember there was a couple of mids that some people wanted to stay, some people wanted to go. But other than that, it's still pretty good. Good score lines, and on a different day, maybe Garden Pandaria might have walked with this. Maybe in week 3 if they played their week 3, because they started out strong that point.
They've also not had Bud, I think, for a couple of weeks as well, and that's also a huge impact when you lose like your pocket soldier that you've had for seasons. When you have to play for a Merc for a bit, it throws you off a little bit, because that circles back to like the point I made at the very start, where you can't ever replace the person that you've built your team up with.
Yeah.
So it's maybe if they didn't have Bud missing for a couple of weeks and were able to get like the full good practice that they should have had, also could tie into it as well. But I think they need to look around their team a bit more, and I think they need to start adapting it to what they can do for Milky to try and make his life a bit easier, to try and get him more impact in the games, because at the minute it feels like he's just getting outshined. And the thing is, your demo is like, despite Sticky nerf, and you've still got lock and load, and Stickies are still really strong without it. It's still objectively the best class in the game, or objectively the strongest one. You should be having your team built around your demo. You don't really want a team built around scouts, because then you're just losing so much damage output. And the damage output will come into effect much more further down the line. You look at demos like Lucas, the team just opens up so much space for him, and he crushes because of it. Same with Nasboy, same with Elikor. You give Elikor 2 soldiers that can open up the map for him. The guy just makes the game his bitch. It's amazing to watch. But you'll see it in American teams as well. That's why Habib's so strong. His soldiers just open up the map for him, and he just does whatever he wants.
All right. Well, I can't think of a more appropriate closing statement to end our match off. I don't think we're going to get any interviews in. It's a regular season game after all. There's still playoff, Josh. That means that they might have lost this week game, but playoff is still very likely on the cards for both of these teams, so they have a chance to go back into the workshop and repair those things. And I'm sure watching back this cast can't hurt a bit as well. But if you've just watched us, that's all well and good. You're nice and tuned up. You're going to be focusing your teams around your demo man because you've been putting down your notes, listening to our boy Josh here on the co-cast. So thank you very much, Josh. We also had Beta in the background pressing buttons, showing you and presenting our little intakes and to our very eyes. But this has been our coverage of ETF2L season 39. I think I called it season 38 at some point. I'm stuck in the past because it is week 3. Garda Panteri, hard luck. Well done to 3.5 stars. We are going to be covering our last sort of games of the weeks that are on catch up for all these teams, but tune in the future for more coverage over on teamfortress.tv. We'll see you soon.